Most people think building a directory site starts with the website, but the website is only the visible layer. Behind it, there are two workflows running in parallel. The first is research and development. That is where you choose the niche, understand the audience, evaluate search demand, and think through monetization. The second workflow is ETL, extract, transform, and load. Extract the raw data, transform it into something useful, and load it into a system that can publish clean, trustworthy pages. Most people think a directory site starts with a list. Find a niche, scrape some data, publish a bunch of pages, and wait for Google. That sounds simple, but it is also where a lot of directory projects get into trouble. Because the hard part is not just getting the data. The hard part is building a workflow that keeps bad data from becoming public pages. In this video, I am going to show you how to build a directory site with the workflow nobody shows you. How Pad Locator went from idea to data pipeline to AI-built website to Google review surface. Hi, this is Digital Kevin. Kevin is behind the scenes working on the next project, and he reads all of your comments. He truly appreciates the encouragement, feedback, and ideas. If you are new here, Pad Locator is a directory site built to help families find splash pads, spray parks, and water play areas. But this video is not just about splash pads. It is about the workflow behind building a real directory site with AI, scraped data, Airtable, Python, GitHub, Netlify, and Google as the final judge. By the end, you should understand the build path, how to research the niche, design the data source, clean the records, load the operating data store, publish the site, and keep improving from Google feedback. So use Pad Locator as the example, but listen for the repeatable pattern you can use in your own directory project. This diagram is the map for the whole episode. There are two streams running at the same time. The top stream is R&D, research and strategy. That is where the idea becomes a real product decision. Who is the audience? What are they searching for? What pages should exist? What should the site avoid? The bottom stream is ETL, extract, transform, and load. That is where raw data becomes something clean enough to power a public website. The important point is this: these streams are connected. Keyword research affects what data you extract. Bad data affects product decisions. Google feedback sends you back into cleanup and improvement. Builder takeaway. Before you generate pages, build the workflow that decides which pages deserve to exist. The first real build step is not scraping. The first step is deciding whether the niche can support useful pages. Pad Locator started as a simple idea. Families need an easy way to find local splash pads and water play areas. But an idea is not enough. The R&D step asks whether the niche has search demand, whether the topic has local intent, whether it has seasonality, and whether the site can create pages that are actually useful. This is where tools like Google Search Console, Ahrefs, Google Search Results, and AI research come into the workflow. For Pad Locator, keyword research did more than shape blog topics. It shaped the data strategy. If people search for splash pads by city, state, free admission, toddlers, shade, restrooms, or water parks, those ideas become categories, filters, and data fields. Builder takeaway. Keyword research should shape the data model, not just the blog calendar. Once you know the niche, you still need source data. For Pad Locator, the primary extract source was Outscraper, pulling Google Maps style data for water parks, splash pads, aquatic centers, playgrounds, and related venue types. But this is where a lot of builders make the first expensive mistake. Raw data is not inventory. Raw data is candidate material. The query choices matter, the categories matter, the location settings matter, the enrichment choices matter, and the cost estimate matters. If the extract is too broad, You do not just get more listings, you get more cleanup, more false positives, and more risk that bad pages make it to Google. Builder takeaway. Extraction is the first quality gate. A bigger scrape is not automatically a better directory. Transform is where the directory starts becoming valuable. This is where raw rows get deduped, descriptions get cleaned, venue types get classified, closed locations get flagged, bad records get held back, and ambiguous records get pushed into a review queue. This was one of the biggest lessons from Pad Locator. The raw extract included duplicates, non-Splashpad venues, dry entertainment venues, resorts, restaurants, rafting locations, playgrounds without water features, and records with descriptions that were too weak or too generic. Python scripts and AI helped clean and classify the data, but the point was not to make the spreadsheet look full. The point was to decide what deserved to become a public page. Builder takeaway. Do not let a raw row become an indexable page until the data earns it. After the data is cleaned, the next question is where it lives. For Pad Locator, Airtable became the operating data store. That does not mean Airtable is a dumping ground. It means Airtable holds the controlled fields that power the site: venue type, admission, age range, features, hours, status, URLs, descriptions, and review state. Load is not just importing records. Load is deciding what becomes operational truth. If bad records get loaded as publish ready, the website eventually reflects that. And if the website reflects that, Google can see it. Builder takeaway. Airtable is the operating store for approved data, not a place to hide every scraped row. Once the operating data is ready, the site can be published. For Pad Locator, the code lives in GitHub, the site is deployed on Netlify, and the build process turns data into static pages. That includes state pages, city pages, category pages, individual listing pages, blog posts, and sitemap entries. This is where technical rules matter. The build needs to know whether a page should exist, whether it belongs in the sitemap, whether it should be no-indexed, whether it should carry ads, and whether structured data should be omitted. Local success is not enough. The real question is, what is production serving right now? Builder takeaway. The build system must decide what is public, indexable, monetizable, and sitemap worthy. AI is part of the workflow, but it is not one magic button. Claude Code handled a lot of the build work: architecture, templates, scripts, site changes, and remediation passes. Codex became the audit and QA layer, checking the repo, running scans, reviewing sitemap behavior, validating production, and asking whether the public review surface matched the AdSense goals. Gemini helped with the creative layer, graphics, design ideas, and video visuals. The lesson is not that one AI wins. The lesson is that different AI tools can sit at different checkpoints in the workflow. Claude builds, Codex audits, Gemini helps package the story visually. Builder takeaway. Use AI as a workflow layer. Do not make one tool build the site and grade its own homework. The last major checkpoint is Google. Search Console tells you what Google can discover, crawl, index, exclude, and send traffic to. AdSense judges whether the site is ready to show ads. This is where the earlier workflow either holds together or falls apart. If the extract was too broad, if the transformation was weak, if Airtable became messy, or if the sitemap invited Google to crawl low-value pages, the review surface suffers. That is exactly why Pad Locator had to keep improving. We found false positives. We removed risky pages from the sitemap. We checked production. We rebuilt we resubmitted the sitemap. That is not failure. That is the continuous improvement loop. Builder takeaway. Google judges the public surface, so your workflow needs a feedback loop after launch. So if you want to build a directory site, do not start with the question, how many pages can I generate? Start with better questions. What audience am I serving? What data do I actually need? What fields define a useful listing? What records should never become public pages? What does Google see when it crawls the site? And what workflow keeps the site improving after launch? That is the real directory site workflow. Idea, research, extract, transform, load, publish, audit, improve. If you copy one thing from this video, copy the sequence. Build the workflow before you scale the pages. If this workflow helps, let Kevin know in the comments. For the next video, would you rather go deeper into niche research, Outscraper setup, Airtable schema, Python cleanup scripts, or AdSense review surface checks? Kevin reads your comments, and those comments help shape the next project. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.